Tape Eaters, motherfucker, Yakov here, alongside K98.
Hey.
And Southern Polak.
Hey.
Southern Polak put together the itinerary for the show tonight.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Maybe that'll help a little bit. I'm fucking working like 70 hours a week. I don't have time to do this crap now, and it's killing me inside. One day I'll get to quit my job, and I'll fucking make video essays for all of you. One day, and it'll all work out. I won't have to fucking break my back.
One day.
You're all obliged to watch them.
That's for fucking sure. God damn. So yeah, let's get right into current events, I suppose.
Yes.
All right.
Let me make sure I'm
so-
sharing the screen to you guys. Joe Pesci back in the chat. What up, bro?
Yo.
What's up, man?
I thought he was like fucking streaming.
The back-
Oh, that was
Just
nothing.
the
He wasn't
appropriate
doing
person will
nothing.
take it.
Nothing weird going on here.
You guys see I was next to the
Oh.
Capitol?
What's that?
The Capitol?
Hell yeah, we saw.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking Pesci over here is fucking so high on Delta 8 outside the fucking Capitol. You don't know what he's gonna do, but it's gonna get me demonetized, and it will be worth it.
It's THCO. THCO. Come on.
Come on now, bro. Come on.
But so did we want to talk about? Did we want to talk about fucking anything current? Like I don't know.
No,
I do.
Ukraine shit so old and gay.
Oh God, Ukraine shit. I do have a hot
Yeah, so
take
gay.
regarding some of that. My hot take is that a couple months ago, the Federal Reserve announced that they have a plan for a digital currency, the Fed coin, the digital dollar.
I heard that. Yes, I've heard that. They're gonna try
That
to fucking
shit-
do-
But that shit fucking crashed the hell out of the market. And I think that was their plan.
I had
To say
that
that there's
too.
going to be an official Federal Reserve coin, and that which implies that all of this other shit is going to be fucked. But it's like, why would they do that then? And like nothing happened with it. Nothing's going to happen with the digital dollar for quite a while. Eventually they'll have to crash the economy and bring that shit out. But it's like, why did they do that? A couple months
'Cause
later,
they believe their own bullshit. They
but
believe their own
a
bullshit.
couple months later, fucking Russia moves on Ukraine. And now there's talk of fucking China moving on Taiwan. And it also it seems to me that the people in power, they were looking at that situation and they're like, there's all these strategic moves taking place that are going to try to you know, get rid of the fucking hegemony of the US dollar and basically the US military, seeing us stretch too thin on both
That's what you
fronts. Strategically, economically, everything involved in that. So, and we know that Russia and China were both holding a large amount of Bitcoin. We know China was behind like half the mining going on. And Russia, there was a lot of talk about what they held. So it's like, let's make this shit as invaluable as we can to stifle these actions that they are going to take in the coming months.
That's a good take. You know, I think too the fucking the weird thing about the Saudis are now paying or letting China pay them in yuans for oil instead of dollars.
Petro.
So that just devalues the fucking
Yeah.
dollar.
We can see that this is the real decline happening. We've been waiting on it. We've been kind of seeing it happen. But now it's like bastard countries rise up. All these places like Russia, China, Iran, who are on the brink of
Iran,
like
probably.
being... Yeah, who are on the brink of fucking being a superpower. Now they can kind of get together and be like, fuck these guys. They can't manage their borders. They obviously can't manage borders in fucking Europe. Their own fucking dollar is shit.
Yep. It's fucking bad, man. It's gonna be interesting. Like I just don't think a lot of people that live in the U.S. or in West Europe, they don't understand what suffering is because their grandparents suffered, and then their parents didn't, and then they did. So it's gonna be a fucking mess when it hits you. You're gonna see.
All I want is
You're
for
gonna see
everything
shit
to go to zero and everybody to be at the same point. That's all I fucking feel my pain of having just living off of fucking Walmart brand peanut butter.
Well, like nuclear war or some shit?
I don't know, and it's not going to be nuclear war. Like we wish it would be something cool like nuclear war with fire and brimstone. It's all going to be economic and psyops.
Inside.
Yeah, we don't even get to meet cool aliens or nothing.
No.
Is
Although
there-
people maybe can put them in robots. But
Asterio says nothing happened and crypto markets pumped. That's not really true. Fucking Bitcoin was at like 70,000 and now it dropped in half and now it's just kind of recovering.
Dude, the invasion of Ukraine is not even happening. It's not even real.
I don't know what's going on. We were talking about that last week, I think, that there's like no video evidence of anything going on there. Like we haven't seen any.
I've seen 3 videos of combat out of Ukraine, and I've seen the more recent one where the dude's like firing an RPK and a round comes in and hits the RPK and breaks it. I've seen that one, and then I've seen the fucking tanks on the street that the U.S. media is showing a lot. And then I've seen the other one of the fucking building getting hit by the tank shell, and that's like the 3 combat videos I've seen on the internet, and that's fucking weird for like this big of a war.
It's not a big war. It's a small conflict. And it's basically over, and the NATO countries' media are posturing like, oh, we can't have peace talks with Russia because they're morally evil. Putin is Hitler.
Yeah, there was a Time magazine cover of that.
Do a Ron Perlman fucking bit. Hey, little poopler.
They really believe. They really believe their own bullshit. They really believe that they're gonna like invade the Ukraine and then take it over and make it a NATO country and then put like chemical war or biological warfare manufacturing plants there. And
well, the biological warfare
exercises.
thing that was enlightening too, because I was wondering this whole time. It's like, why is, and I get why Ukraine is valuable to the West. I get that. What I don't get is when it's obvious that you don't have the resources to do anything about it, why you would drum up a major conflict over it. That wasn't so obvious.
I don't believe that I'm not the world's superpower anymore.
I guess, but then they start talking about biolabs, and it's like, okay, well, maybe that's what they had to defend.
Well, think about it. You can't let it be.
Uh-oh. And he cuts back off.
Where were we? Anybody else have anything to say about this gay Russia shit?
Oh, I saw.
No, but I've been basically trying to spy on my fucking ex because I want to know what's going on. Like I'm just curious. Are her fucking brothers dead? You know, is her dad dead? Like, because I'm sure they were fucking forced to fight.
Everybody's
but I can't
dead.
fucking find anything. The only thing I fucking found of her, and I think it's her, and I think she's a fucking lesbian now. I'm not even.
Is she on Polish Tinder?
No, I found her on I found her on fucking OkCupid, and that's where I originally met her before she fucking came over here as an exchange student. We were both in high school, and that's how we met. But she was calling herself in her English name, not the Slavic name she had, and she was still looking for a man. But fuck, I was like through other pages she had like commented on and shit on VK. This is before, I guess, like
this is
I hear like VK got recently. Yeah, that's the Russian Facebook, but Ukrainians use it too, although it's banned in Ukraine apparently since the war. But the fucking she was on it. She had liked this like gay shit, and there was a picture of her marching with this other chick in like a parade. I'm not even joking. Like one of the fucking U.S. sponsored pride parades. Fucking gross.
Gross, yeah.
So yeah, she might be a lesbian now. I don't know.
Nice.
Really fucking sad.
Let's see what Ashley Hatcher's up to, everybody.
Look, no.
No.
Ashley is not trying to kill Little Bear. This is not what Ashley looks like. Okay, we don't want Daniel Hatcher either. Just don't look at my face, please. Don't look at my fucking face, please. Please don't look at my fucking face.
And here we are having a total fucking meltdown in the old Walmart. We go for a little shopping. We do a little shopping sometimes, you see.
Sometimes. Wasabi peas. We came here to get some wasabi peas.
Yeah, and this is what happened.
This is not what I look like, and I am not trying to kill the Playboy bunny. The Playboy... Mama Rogue gave me Blackberry. Little Bear was mated to Mama Rogue.
I think she's talking about her wolf dogs that she had a lifetime ago. She brought up Daniel Hatcher, who was her ex-husband around the same time that they had the wolf dogs. They had kids together, right as everything fell apart. This time period that she is lost in, about a decade
I
ago.
knew there
Oh,
was
the
something
mummified
weird
wolf
between
dog?
her and those dogs. Oh my.
There's something weird.
Yeah, 'cause she had one of them
Little
mummified or some shit.
They had some taken away from her. There was, I don't know what the hell. We haven't quite figured out what the hell happened. There was talk of putting them down. There was talk of having to get rid of them to get the kids back. And it seems like there's some real weird shit going on. But she had one of them at least up until like later on into her total fucking insanity. And I think that one died, and she just, I don't know how, like, I don't know if she went out of her way to mummify it or whatever, but it was definitely mummified in the shed.
Ah.
Prayer was given to God. They have an occult group where they have a guy that says God on earth. Okay, but that has nothing to do with Ashley's religion. Ashley's
Right.
religion has Metatron, an archangel of understanding of the Catholic religion. You cannot turn me into one of James's brothers to get away with killing him.
What?
James is another one of her exes. I don't think this was a husband. I don't think they were ever married, but it was some crazy James Lee Woodyard. Some crazy guy that she was with, that she's also obsessed with. That I think she says that he's the head of like the Death Black Magic cult or whatever the fuck. It's like hexing her and stealing her face.
Oh.
Yeah.
This online. Put this online.
Don't know.
He works for Playboy. So did Pope. He did gore art.
Nice.
Slipknot.
Wow.
Gotcha.
art.
Slipknot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put it online, Ashley.
She put it online. You heard her. You heard it here first. She said to put it online. Nothing weird going on here.
And get your wasabi peas.
Wasabi peas. It all starts with wasabi peas, and it just goes fucking downhill from there.
You know, I'm quite glad I don't live in the same state as this one.
Yeah. Fucking. I believe she's still in Kansas. I don't see why she wouldn't still be in
I hope
Kansas.
so. I really hope so.
This lady needs
Put it
help.
online, Ashley. And get your wasabi peas. Just get your wasabi
Get the
peas.
fucking peas and get out of there.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What the hell is going on in here?
My
We don't
face
know.
when the wasabi peas be too spicy.
Yeah, though.
What up,
My
Flame?
face
How you
when-
doing?
Oh, my face when the mayo is too spicy.
Yeah. Oh,
She's
yeah.
shopping for wasabi peas.
She's getting them.
What's up, guys?
We chilling, bro.
Not much.
Getting the
We're
Ashley
learning about
update.
Ashley.
Right now, did I just like barge in?
I mean, we're streaming. It's all good.
Where?
Come on
Yeah,
in.
we're streaming.
I'm about to set up. I'll be back.
All right, man. Look forward to
All
it.
right.
Ashley, go.
Swear. And this is not our face. Either somebody is trying to make us ugly because the Aryan brothers were taking a fat and ugly person. So they're trying to make Ashley ugly. So that way Laffy takes her.
What?
Gotcha.
Killing a pretty girl is common. Ashley, hold on.
Hold on, Ashley. Just hold on. What do you guys think of that Ashley situation? Good things
How
coming
do
in
you
her
think
life?
she's back on the meth?
But she doesn't need to be on the meth to be that crazy.
No.
Maybe she is. She might be on
She was
drugs.
withdrawing. Remember the last arc? She was withdrawing from it and like crying and shit.
Yeah,
I'ma
exactly.
say- She on drugs.
She probably is. I would assume with that look going on, just stumbling into a
She's
fucking
on
Walmart
drugs.
looking like that, she's probably walking the streets and getting paid in drugs. Is quite likely at this point.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we can move on to our next Schizo GF.
I don't know if you can play. Oh, yes, right.
Tila! Yeah!
She got the USP back up.
Mildly threatening Tila.
Well, she's Tila
Oh,
to
it's a
kill
PT
you
class.
now.
Well, I'm a retard.
She got a fucking gun, no doubt about it.
It's a nice German HK.
What's she gonna do with
Jesus is
that?
also teaching her about makeup.
Jesus bought her that gun.
Ah,
Jesus has an excellent taste in German style.
Yeah. Looks great. Dude, I wish... I just want a steady supply of Tila Tequila fucking waving a gun around videos. Come on, do something crazy already. If someone's got to do it, it should be Tila.
She carrying them hollow points.
Hollow points, yeah, dude. This is the prophetess, the high priest of the new religion.
mm.
Her and Ashley, they're the fuck. It's the yin and yang for you.
Did we ever find out what type of Asian she is?
The best type, the good kind.
The high functioning psycho kind.
Yeah. Sped says Ashley makes Saint Terry look sane by comparison. Dude, there is some sort of knowing that goes on with like the level of insanity of fucking like a Terry Davis or even an Ashley or Francis E. Deck was the same way. And it's like there is a level of knowing. There's like they know that there's people pulling the strings behind the scenes and you can't quite see it, but it's always interfering with your life and fucking you over. That's how fucking intelligent people look at life. You get too paranoid. Too goddamn paranoid.
Well, once you're too smart, they come to get you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll stay a retard with drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too retarded to be.
Leonid in the chat says Tila's Filipina.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
That sounds about right.
I'm into it.
I feel like she's half something.
Maybe she's half Chinese.
About to take half a foot of this dick.
Mm. Too bad mine is more than that. Won't all fit then.
I'm gonna have to start referring to like 6 inches as half a foot because that sounds way more impressive. Like,
Yeah, dude.
I guess it does.
How much of a
If I
meter?
stayed.
Point something?
I don't know. I don't do metric. At least not when I measure my dick.
So, did you guys know
Centimeters don't sound very big, do they?
Vietnamese? Leonid says.
There we go.
Vietnamese.
Yeah, she's got
That's
that,
cool.
that shape.
Did you guys know that fucking... First of all, how do you feel about Nikocado avocado?
Oh, you don't know?
oh, you mean Nikocado, Banderacado,
Yeah,
Ukrainian ace?
The disgusting mukbanger. Now, he's a guy, his videos,
Yeah.
you turn them on, and they're like funny for 5 minutes. It's just him crying and slapping his gay boyfriend, and it's like, it's kind of fucking funny how just disgusting the whole situation is. The problem is the videos go on for like 45 minutes, and he's too self-aware of what he's doing. He can't be a true lolcow, because he wants the attention and wants the money, and he knows how to get it.
No.
Did you know that just recently, he fucking recorded a video, and there's audio of his neighbor getting stabbed to death in it.
Yeah, I saw something about that.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard about that or some shit. Yeah, she's screaming or something.
It's nasty. Let's go to the tape. Let's go to the tape
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
it's there. Yes.
Drive back to get nuggets during rush hour because you feel like it. I didn't ask you to drive back. I'm letting you know that you made an error. The
So here we
error
have
I made was marriage.
the gay
Marriage was
bickering.
The only error I made.
Okay, so first of all, you look at what it's just too fucking funny, too fucking funny. Anyway, what he's wearing, the fucking the stupid hoodie that's too small for him, with all those stupid faces all over it, and like that's what I'm saying. Like he knows how to monetize how retarded and disgusting he is, and for that he can never be a Christian or anything like that.
Yeah, because Christian like unironically believed his own shit.
Exactly,
You know.
exactly. This guy knows he's
This
a
guy
fucking
doesn't.
grifter. And he's
Yeah.
a fucking pro at it. Here he is with his fucking fries and nuggies. Would you guys eat this?
What the fuck?
Would
is
you
going
guys eat this with your gay boy? That's what I'm saying. These videos are kind of funny at first. He's just raging as gay as possible.
Here, mine identifies vegan. Use mine.
Counting the nuggets.
Vegan nuggets.
Well, let's skip it ahead.
With the animal ones.
Let's skip it.
Vegan nuggets are with the animal
These are
nuggets.
expensive.
Some domestic abuse going on.
The vegan nuggets are.
And that's not even... This isn't even the most illegal thing that's getting recorded today. Let's,
They're always
Listen.
on point. Again, they taste like this, but you know, a little greasier.
you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Yep, somebody was screaming.
Let's play it back. I want to go a little further back and see if there's any indication of what's to come here.
When they're old and they taste refried, even though they say they don't. They might not. I don't know what the. I've had lots of bad McDonald's nuggets. I've never had bad Jack in the Box nuggets. I have had bad Burger King nuggets where they taste hard like a rock.
Do you think his neighbor who died that day had to listen to like this through the walls?
Yes.
Him just fucking talking about nuggies and like gay shit and
Yeah.
abusing his like Latino boyfriend? And like, which is more horrifying to have to hear through your walls?
Probably the second thing.
The second thing, yeah.
One of these has bad nuggets. So I put Jack in the Box as number one because of the consistency, and not the consistency of just the actual nugget, but how consistently they're always on
There it
point.
is.
Yep.
Again, it tastes like this, but you know, a little greasier.
That look right there. It's like, did I hear
What's
something?
going on?
Again, they taste like this, but you know, a little greasier.
He's
Is that the
he's
sound of
wondering.
somebody dying?
Yeah, he's wondering what that sound is.
Just imagine, fucking, you're getting stabbed to death in the other room, and this dude is shoving fucking onion rings and greasy ass shit into his mouth, just being, oh, it's greasy. Love Jack in the Box. Oh, dude, and
He's wrong because Jack in the Box nuggets suck comp. Like they're horrible.
I
He
fucking,
said they're better.
I hate to just rehash shit I've heard before, but the fact is that this is going to be probably used in like a court of law as like evidence.
Just the
And this is what the judge and jury have to listen to.
Lee, they're always on point. Again, it tastes like this, but you know, a little greasier.
This dude, he literally fucking hears it. He's fucking shoving this garbage into his gullet. He literally hears it, and he continues recording his fucking video. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'd do in this situation if I'm assuming someone's dying, or if I'm just assuming some wife is getting abused and it's totally fucking normal in that household or whatever. But like, I don't know, man.
They're unusual sounding.
Dude, and if nothing else, I would probably stop the recording to see if I actually picked up those screams.
That seems reasonable, but this man doesn't seem very reasonable.
Or maybe he's more reasonable than any of us. That's why he doesn't have to get a fucking job and go to work.
You're right. You're right.
Alpine and the Alpine Ocelot says that's dedication to the grind set. And that's the right idea there. Sped says he'd rather eat the gaping asshole of a fat mukbang YouTuber and drown over. Can I sing that to the tune of the AVGN song? I can't think I had to do that right now.
easy hungry.
He'd rather eat the gaping asshole of a fat mukbang YouTuber and drown it with jizz. Leonid says, in a strange way, Chris Chan was also self-aware. I remember him mentioning Norman Bates and Oedipus Complex in the text messages with the girl. That's just shit he learned from movies and Family Guy, probably. He had no concept of that shit except like a Family Guy joke. So when you guys die, do you want it to be part of a Nikocado Avocado video? And get
Not
the
really.
recognition you deserve?
No, I'm good.
I think I'll pass.
I will. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna say fuck it.
I could intentionally squeeze out a burp while my neighbor is getting murdered, but yeah, no.
Alright, let's move on to we got more chats. Hold up. Leonid says, but Chris Chan is ultimately a true believer in the madness. But his madness was informed by the same culture and society everyone else was. So you're basically calling him Charles Manson.
I don't think.
Are you giving him that much credit that he's Charles Manson?
No, he's not Charles.
I don't think Chris
You
Chan is a
described
cultural
Charles
icon,
Manson.
but I could be wrong. Maybe he is.
Well, he
maybe
will be.
Maybe he's the zeitgeist of our time personified.
I think in some ways he is.
He's on the redemption arc. He's gonna get out of prison. And he's gonna run for office, and he's gonna become fucking president.
I would be shocked if the Chris Chan Hollywood movie never happened. I would be shocked. It's such a good story. I think stuff like the Geno Samuel documentary is just the beginning. Wait till you have Chris Pratt as Chris Chan.
Okay, never mind what I said. Quickville is an icon, and Chris Chan is probably the zeitgeist of our time personified.
I think Chris Chan is all the worst aspects. When you let the animal inside
When
you...
was zeitgeist ever having a good implication? It's a time ghost.
Well, yeah, but I don't think there's necessarily like only negative aspects.
The spirit of an age has positive and negative attributes, sure.
I mean, if we are in the Kali Yuga, then Chris Chan is probably.
But that's what happens when you have like just enough intelligence to like know that you are a human going about your day, know that you are tying your shoes, and when you have the basic understanding of being a human in society, just enough that you have to do it, but not enough that you're any good at it. But you're still aware enough to know how shit you are at it. And then you run and hide into all of the easiest things to run and hide to. Your fucking your Happy Meal, your fucking Sega Genesis, the fucking My Little Pony, this and that. And you're just letting the animal urges take over while you still have those very human needs.
Now I'm having flashbacks of Nikocado Avocado wondering if his neighbor's getting murdered or what.
He wasn't wondering that hard.
No, he's gonna get out of prison, and then he's gonna move in with Nikocado Avocado.
Ooh.
Chris Chan mukbangs as he fucking eats.
He's not gay, right? He's made that very clear.
He's a lesbian.
In his first video.
Stay straight. That was his first message, but Chris Chan is now a lesbian. So let's cut to the video. No Chris Chan video, unfortunately. I wish there was more. It never will be at this rate.
When it comes, we'll know.
Gosh.
It's coming within 10 years or less.
Oh, the second coming is upon us. Let's cut to this fucking video. I don't know what this is. I think this is something K98 sent me.
Oh, what's this?
I don't know.
Oh, this. Oh, shit.
What is this? This is the cave.
This shit's crazy.
You tell us about this. What's happening here? Why are these dudes going into this cave?
Okay, so in this part of the world, there's like hermits that live in the caves. And legend has it that some of them became like basically immortal and turned themselves into rocks. So all these people go to this cave to do some kind of ritual to call up like their lineage gurus and like Brahma and Shiva and Vishnu and Buddha.
Where is
and,
this?
Like, the
I take it this is
in Thailand. This is in Thailand.
Oh, Thailand. Okay.
But I think the grimoires are probably written. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the grimoires are probably written in like ancient Cambodian Sanskrit or something like that. Not too sure.
So
yeah, basically
they got the candles lit. They're doing the mantras, and they have this cloth spread out.
Yeah.
If you're not watching.
Oh yeah, the mantra they do now. you can hear the different deity names.
ซึ่งเป็นผู้ไกลจากกิเลสสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะตัดจะรู้ชอบได้โดยพระองค์เองหันธรรมยังปัจฉิมาพุทโธวาทปาทังพนามาเส
So they're trying to call forth, you said, so either like deities or ancestor spirits?
So they got their like lineage that they get their book through, and the book, when it gets passed down to you, you're part of like the lineage. So the guru sends you his power, and all the gurus of the past send you the power, right?
Yeah.
So then they're calling up like the gurus and the things that live in the mountain and all the gods, and then they're asking them to come and give them some treasure, I guess, in the form of like the Paya Sameng, like, which is some kind of king of changeling iron. I don't know, some kind of metal deity, some kind of being that's made out of metal that lives in the mountain.
Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah, so they basically call it and tell it what they were all about. Here it comes. It's coming down.
The mountain creature? The serpent?
Yeah, it's some kind of tendril made out of metal.
And you said that the tip of it is like molten?
It looks like it. It's red hot. It also likes that noise they're making. Is you can't tell.
It do be juking and jiving.
It do be dancing. He be vibing.
So how would you fake this shit? If one wanted to fake this shit?
You need to go into the limestone caves with some kind of puppet, metal puppet.
Yep. But
And
you'd
treasure.
have to like climb way up. Yeah.
So the chanting increases as this thing makes its appearance. And now the cloth they have spread out below starts to come into play. So this thing starts dropping presents?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Hot metal present.
What's that?
Hot metal.
So what is it dropping?
Probably hot metal or hot glass or some kind of hot minerals that solidify when they hit that sheet.
So like it's going to be like it's like blessed. It's like charms and shit, right?
It's the body of the things that live in the mountain, and they take different shapes.
That's dank.
It's crazy.
This is pretty nice.
I was surprised by how many videos of it there are. There's not just this guy. There's like a couple other gurus that are doing videos like this. Some of them get a lot of treasure.
Do they show us the treasure in this video? I want to see the stuff.
Towards the end, yeah, I think. Or maybe halfway through. I don't know. Oh, yeah.
Those gold, bro.
Whoa. That's fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah. So in this video, during the invocation, they mention Egg Boy. This guy. This statue is of Egg Boy.
Chinese Eggman?
Egg Boy, yeah.
Pow,
So Egg Boy was like...
Egg Boy was like,
so there's this legendary monk in Thailand called Luangport Tuad or something like that, and he changed like salt water to drinkable water when they were on a boat. So he's very famous, and he has other qualities that make him famous, and there's statues of him everywhere. And legend has that there was like a lad that would go around with him as his attendant, being his little helper. And then he was like, "Oh, you're going to stay here at this historical place. It's going to become real important. It's called Wat Jetty, right?" So, you know.
Whoa, Black Jetty! Bam, bam, whoa, Black Jetty!
Yeah.
Had to get it in.
Yeah, so it's like the garden of the stupa. It's the stupa garden. So he's like, "Okay, lad, you're gonna stay here at the Stupa Garden." And the lad like did so, and then legend has it he drowned himself in a pond nearby or something because he was sad. I don't know. So then he became the guardian ghost of the place, and now people like burn firecrackers to him during the pandemic times because they want money, and he helps you win the lottery. They say. I don't know. I talked to some Thai people about it, and me and one laughed about how he bought the lucky number incense that you can get at the temple to try and get lucky numbers. So he played the lucky numbers that he got from the lucky number incense.
Dude, the spirits literally giving you fucking lottery numbers.
Oh, that's what people pray for.
God
You give
damn.
them firecrackers and Fanta and maybe
Fanta?
Fanta.
Chris Chan showing up here. Oh, this is the fire god. And he will let me out of prison for having sex with my mother.
Yes. So yeah, people pray to Egg Boy so that they'll win the lotto, and they offer him Fanta and firecrackers, and yeah, he's really popular right now. And this, I'm convinced the Egg Boy is real because in this video we see that the mountain god is throwing molten Egg Boys into the sheet.
Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Egg Boy, Chris Chan, Weston Chandler, Sonichu.
Yes.
He's becoming the Egg Boy. That's the next avatar that he will fulfill.
I don't know, Egg Boy is a ghost, so.
The more you know. What the fuck? Polak, do you want to talk about Alexander the Great?
Sure, yeah. The
Hit me with
dude's
that.
very fucking mystical. And when I say that, I mean literally, like the fucking Greeks, after his death, I think like the fucking 300 years after his death, he was still being worshipped almost as a deity.
Yeah.
Who?
What up, Flame?
Like every good king.
Who?
Alexander the Great
Alexander the
of
King.
Macedon.
He was a pharaoh, among other titles.
He was the greatest king of the earth.
He was
swiftly.
a black man.
What are the mystical implications of Alexander and his rule?
Well, you see, here's what's fucking weird, right? No one has ever found his body. No one knows where it's buried. There's people that have guesses.
It's in pieces.
No one's
To Greece.
That's what they don't know that for sure. They've looked everywhere in Greece and have not found it. They think now it's Egypt. And recently, well, no, like recently they found in Egypt, like I think about 2019, they found a giant fucking black sarcophagus while they were trying to dig up a septic line or something, and everyone got real excited.
The goo?
They thought,
drinking the goo?
Yeah, the goo mummies, yeah. They got real excited because they thought, okay, this is Alexander's sarcophagus. And no, it was just three dudes inside the coffin.
There's nothing but goop in there. I checked.
Yeah, and there was like sewage that got in it and like fermented over hundreds of years or something.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So if we drink it in some cola.
I always wanted to be a god king.
Me too, dude.
Me too.
But basically, the other implication
I'm in the hotel.
Oh, hell yeah.
Is right behind
he almost united the Eastern and Western Indo-European worlds. And what I mean by that is you have this dude that's, Macedonian or Greek. Like, the Greeks and the Macedonians, that's a barrel of fucking fish there, but they hate each other. But basically modern Macedonians are more like Slavs and more like Bulgarians. Bulgarians are debatably Slavs too, but they're more Slavic than Greeks. And old Macedonians would have been more like Greeks. But point being, he's Macedonian. He conquers. His dad dies. He does all kinds of weird shit in his teenage years. He tames a horse no one else can tame. Like the horse literally lets him fucking climb on it and ride it when he's like 12. And and then it becomes like this horse. And it lived an unusually long life. Bucephalus was its name. And it lived like longer than he did. And that was fucking weird from what I've read. And it was, it had like something was mystical about the horse. That's what I've always gathered too.
So it was a wizard in disguise.
Maybe because he seemed to use this horse in every battle and never got fucking killed in battle. Apparently,
The horse
so.
was a wizard.
Some sort of
It's a wizard horse.
skinwalker.
Maybe it was a skin. Yeah.
It does
Related.
sound. It sounds like stuff right out of like I don't know, like medieval legends, that sort of stuff, like handed down.
Well, it gets in more interesting too because if you he then fucking takes the throne or whatever, takes over all of Greece, and then he marches and he goes into the which empire was it? It's the Persians, but I forget what the name of their empire is. Achaemenid Empire.
So what are
And
you
he
telling
goes
me
there-
is? Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
Well, he goes into the Achaemenid Empire. And he like fucking destroys them, and he conquers what is now Turkey. At the time, it would have been Anatolia, and he conquers Babylon, conquers Egypt, he conquers the Levant, and he conquers all the way to Persia and then into India. And Sogdian, he meets the Sogdians. The Sogdians are already really interesting because there were Greeks already in India because
Take that,
of
soggy
the
pod.
because the fucking Achaemenid Emperor, Persian Emperor, he didn't like the Greeks being real close to Greeks or other Greek countries. They were in his empire, so he would have them taken and moved all the way to the end of them, which would have been Sogdia after the Persian Empire collapsed. So the Sogdians were part Greek, part Indian, I guess you could say, but it would have been like a different, probably more like Brahmin Indians today, or like very northern, like maybe the Dardic peoples, and then the Scythian people that would have been from Central Asia at this time were also there. So the Sogdians are a mix of these three like tribes, and Alexander marries one of the women, and he has a kid with her. And now the implications of his fucking his dynasty he gets out of this are amazing, because if his kid makes it to the throne, he's going to be the ruler of India, Persia, Babylon, the Levant, Egypt.
The amount
Greece,
of holy
basically
land
the world.
included in that is
Yes,
unbelievable.
yes.
And like holy
Yes,
land that hasn't been known by like Europeans. This is like new.
Yes, and he's going to be emperor of all of this. And
Thanks to Mr. Ed.
sadly, Alexander randomly dies at the age of 30. Or it's 30 or 33. No, it's 33 because he died at the same age Christ died at. That's another weird thing.
Yeah.
Is they both died at the age of 33.
They were both.
And
nasties.
So he died at 33, and then basically all his generals get in a fight, and this is why they can't find his body, because Ptolemy, the Egyptian emperor, or the Egyptian general that would become the new Egyptian emperor, who was Greek, had no Egyptian blood, but like totally became like in love with the culture and started worshiping the old Egyptian gods and stuff.
And wrote about astrology.
Yes, I think his granddaughter would be Cleopatra, and she would have a thing with Julius Caesar, I think. But anyways, or was it Marcus Aurelius? Which one was it? Was it Caesar or
There's more than
Aurelius?
one Cleopatra. There's like the alchemist Cleopatra,
Well,
and then there's the other
Yeah, the
Cleopatra.
famous one, the most famous one.
Yeah.
But I forget if it was Caesar or it was one of the Roman emperors. If it was Aurelius, later times. But fucking and then Seleucus got the Middle East. So basically at Babylon and into Saudi Arabia, but not like deep into it. So your Saudi people at this point were mostly still like the Aramaic people. They would be nomadic, and they would be living in the desert, hunting small animals. And they didn't have cities. So there was no like big cities as far south and like Arabia like there is today. But he conquered like Seleucus was over that, and then I forget who got Greece. But basically there was a huge civil war, and they were trying to bring his body back to Macedonia, and they lost it. And then it was rumored that Ptolemy had it last, so that's why everyone thinks he's in Egypt somewhere. Uh, but they've never found him. And then the civil war got really bad, and I think the Bactrians would split up, and would become what would become of Sogdia. So one of Alexander's generals took it over, and it became even more Greek, basically, more so than Scythian or like Brahmin Indian or Persian.
Are there places that you can go like visit Alexander's tomb, like there are Jesus, where there's a million places that have claimed it?
Yes, there are. There's one very interesting I was going to talk about that's in Afghanistan.
They
And
have
this
his
is the
finger?
one this is the one I kind of believe might be the one that's legitimate because it's got so many fucking booby traps and stuff in it. The main chamber they haven't yet been able to get into because it's flooded with mercury, and it's like very toxic, like mercury, and they would have to somehow pump all this mercury out in the middle of Afghanistan and then be able to go in there. And that's what I'm betting. I had a friend who was in the military, and he was deployed there. He actually took pictures outside of it, and it's a very immaculate like building in the side clean, and it does look it looks Greek. It doesn't even look like Middle Eastern. So that's another. It's very weird.
You sound like a calmer version of
Jerry sounds just like Jerry.
Yeah, dude.
It's true. If he was
I don't know
fucking
what
totally
to say.
wasted, if you were totally wasted, you'd be right on point with the impersonation.
But yeah, that's the thing. I think it's in Afghanistan, and I don't think the reason why it's not been discovered is because with the tumultuous history of Afghanistan, there's not a lot of archaeology going on, and there hasn't been since like the 1800s. So it would make sense he's somewhere there.
I know at the
My
time,
opinion.
Afghanistan would have been like pretty holy land. That would have been the center of Greek
Yes.
Buddhism.
Yes, Greek Buddhism.
So now we think of Afghanistan as just like the backwater Middle East with like nothing going on,
Muslims,
just
yes.
a bunch of Muslims. But at the time, it was
Well,
like a
another
center of culture.
Gandharva.
Yes, and there is a people, and my friend met them. He got deployed to a mountain village because they were worried that the whoever they were fighting, insurgents, I don't fucking know who it was, whoever's on, but they were fighting them or whatever. And they had to go protect this mountainside because these people were pagan or whatever, and they did not get along with the like Sunni Muslim other Afghanis, and they were worried they were going to get like their village was going to be targeted. He was expecting.
I got a question real quick. You said these are pagans?
Yes, he said they
there's
were
pagans still living in those
Yes.
areas. That's interesting.
Yes, but they're very like in mountains. Yes,
That's
isolated.
very, very interesting.
Mountain people.
But he goes to the village, and he's thinking, I'm going to meet some dudes in turbans, and they're going to look like, they're either going to look like Mongoloid Afghanistanian people, or they're going to look like Middle Eastern Afghanistani people. And he goes up the village, and he sees this kid run out in front of him, and the kid has like
That's
bright
odd.
red hair. Yeah, and he's like white, and the kid looks at him, and he has blue eyes, and he's like,
Yeah.
well, whose fucking like kid from America is this? And he like follows the kid up to the village or whatever. And he said the old men meet him, and they all have fair skin and blue eyes. The women are all like very fair complected, and most have blonde hair. And he said it was so strange, and he didn't get to talk much to them or whatever because they didn't speak English. But very weird that he encountered these people that looked like they're from Europe in the middle of fucking Afghanistan.
Oh, it's like those ancient mummies in China in the desert. They're
Yeah.
white people
Yeah,
with Buddhist
we
symbols
was
on them.
kings. We were kings.
That does all.
That was a blue-skinned avatar, but anyway.
That all seems to stem from Alexander and the Greeks, and because like I've said before, that like Greece had Buddhism before China did,
Yeah, but
And
China also had white people before it had Alexander the Great.
Yes.
Really?
when are these mummies you're
Yes.
talking about from?
Yes.
Old.
That's another very interesting thing I would love to talk about is the Tarim Basin mummies and the
I don't know anything
implications they
about it.
have.
That was
Well,
weird.
I have theories. I have some theories that have some biblical ties to them, and they may be retarded. But I have
China's
some
first
theories on
emperor
that.
might have been a white dude. Let's put it that way.
Well, but yes, and well, basically the Yazidi or Yarazi people that were living in Xinjiang, I think, province. That's
Mhm.
Western China. They were noted for having blue eyes and fair hair, and they were noted for being taller than the Han Chinese. And when they were angry in battle, they were turning red. And the Chinese did not like these people because they felt like they were barbarians compared to the Han Chinese.
Nice.
And
Yeah, they've also been
my thing is,
excavating the.
I kind of have a theory that some of the, and this goes to what I personally believe, and it's just my belief with the way after the flood, the biblical flood, I kind of think white people got started in that area. Like that's where Japheth, Noah's son, that supposedly all the Europeans are descended from. I think that's where he would settle, and then they would go into Central Asia and become like Yemnaya
Hold
people,
up.
and then they would go into yes.
Hold up. So, hold up. So you saying we was kings?
I'm saying we was Atlanteans and shit.
Yeah.
Built the
We was
pyramids.
So
Atlanteans,
you
yeah.
brought up
That's another thing.
these mummies, these white people mummies with Buddhist
They're
symbols on
buried
them.
in
So it's
boats.
but you're implying that this is
Yes.
before the commonly accepted origin of Buddhism.
Yes,
Well,
I think this is like fucking very old.
It's I was about to say it's kind of crazy how old Buddhism actually is compared to like Christianity.
they call it-
everything in the West.
Well,
It's only
Buddhism
500 years more.
yeah, so it's not
Shit,
that
even
much more. But
Hinduism.
here's the key, though, is that this all stems from Sanatana Dharma, as they call it, which is the eternal way. So it's all supposed to stem from something that has always existed.
Well, Buddha was
the
a re-
proto-
was
proto
lived at the
religion.
time of the Vedas, right? And the Vedic priests.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was kind of down with what they was doing, but he was a Sramana, and then he's said that his religion that he was doing was one that you could find throughout space and time in the great Chilacosm. So
Yes, and then you get into the Scythians, and the Scythians are personally my favorite antiquity barbarians. And the reason why I fucking love them is because they're the horse people of that era, and everyone was scared of the horse people. And
Horse.
yes,
Long
Wasn't there like
dicks.
wasn't there like always like a horse people like even before the Scythians? Like there was always like
yes, the
priesthood-
Yemnaya.
Yeah, and then there
Yes.
was, like
And
even
Genovo
before
culture.
like before they even had a name or something.
Flame, turn your mic up if you can.
Yeah, you hear it? Is it working
I mean,
better?
I mean,
Yes.
just speak into it, maybe.
Hello.
Yeah, that's where you
But-
should be.
I got a very good story about how a Scythian mummy cursed Hillary Clinton. If anyone wants to hear it.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
So
Yeah, so basically, let me pull the article. This one's fascinated me for a while because it's strange, but let's see.
Let's see. What other curses can Hillary Clinton accrue? How many is too many? At what point does
Yeah,
she
here
just
it is.
burst?
Last I heard, her and Bill they went down to Haiti to visit a special well where some dark entity lives to make a pact so Bill could get the presidency.
It
That's
says
where they found
Hillary
the children.
Clinton. Hillary
Well,
Clinton. This
they used
article is
those.
from articles from 2017. Hillary Clinton was cursed to fail by Siberian mummy. It says rethinking her loss in the presidential race is a mere setback after her long walk in the woods and lots of sleep. Hillary Clinton bravely stated recently that she was ready to get back up and keep going. But while speaking of girl power in the U.S. in the 21st century last Tuesday, Clinton likely didn't suspect that she was fighting a more powerful obstacle. A curse by the lady shaman of Siberia, with whom she had the misfortune of crossing paths with about 20 years ago. A fuzzy photograph of the Clintons by the Princess of Yukon is one of the most revered exhibits at the Museum of Novosibirsk in the
What
capital of
cock?
Siberia.
Uh-oh.
Which cock?
With her, Yukon.
Oh.
Princess of Yukon. Will her acquaintance with the princess bestow a curse on Hillary tonight? Asked one of the headlines on election day. The princess did not like the Clintons, and Clinton lost, a victorious reader remarked the next day in the comments section beneath the article. The remains of the immaculately dressed 20-something princess, preserved for several millennia in the Siberian permafrost, were discovered in 1993 by Novosibirsk scientist Natalia Polmask during an archaeological expedition. The Siberian Times in 2012, 6 saddled and brindled horses, her spiritual escort to the next world, were buried around her, a symbol of her evident status as a healer, holy woman. A meal of sheep and horse meat was placed by her side, as well as ornaments of felt, wood, bronze, and gold, and a large container of cannabis. Based.
Hell yeah.
Based.
Now you got my attention.
This discovery in the middle of Yukon Plateau, the holiest place of the native people of the Altai Mountain, direct relatives of Native Americans and Asians, and Northern Eurasians, the race that would become modern Europeans, has been called one of the most important archaeological moments of the modern era. Even today, only a chopper can deliver one to this unreachable place. And that's really weird because that brings like memories of fucking video games like Skyrim, where you have that huge burial orgies and only dragons can get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's really fucking
literally
Well,
like
life imitates Skyrim.
That's true.
Yeah. Just like Skyrim, guys.
God, that's the life for
no,
me.
it said both of the ancient girl's arms, forearms, shoulders, to wrist were covered with exquisite modern tattoos. It is a phenomenal level of tattoo art. Incredible, Dr. Polomask, who found the mummy, said. The tattoo on the left shoulder of the princess shows a fantastical mythological animal, a deer with a griffin's beak and a capricorn's antlers.
How you spell this
Her head
princess
was
name?
Ukok. Ukok.
Alright.
All right. It says her head was completely shaven and she wore a horsehair wig. She died over 2,500 years ago. She was called Princess by the media. We just call her Devachka, meaning girl, explained Irina Salinikova, head of the Siberian branch of Russian Academy of Sciences Museum of Archaeological and Ethnographical Content.
I'm
Her
looking
brain
for...
and internal organs had been removed. So that's weird. That's like the Egyptian mummification shit.
It's like that in South America as well.
Her brain and internal organs had been removed, so it was not possible to determine the cause of death. The Princess of Yukon was... Now, this is interesting. The Princess of Yukon was not related to any Asian races. Scientists are convinced, nor was she related to the present-day inhabitants of Mongolia or the Altai. She had an Indo-European appearance and blonde hair before shaving her head. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and if you don't eat the brain of the deceased, they didn't even really die. So you have to do them that favor.
Says local shamans declared the mummy belonged to Altai Princess Ochibaba Lady, the progenitor of the Altai people. That's weird, white lady.
The Ochibaba
The keeper
lady?
of the peace. Yeah. Who stood guard, preventing evil from penetrating our world.
Makes sense.
It says locals insisted the evacuation disrupted her protective mission, and the revenge she would inflict would reach globally. Archaeologists. Wow, damn, what is wrong with me? Archaeologists confirmed that as soon as the mummy was found, it was thunder, even though there wasn't a cloud in the sky above. When the remains were, the earthquake began.
Nice.
Some say
that's
the curse of the mummy.
Shit.
Yeah, this is weird shit. Yeah, the curse of the mummy caused the crash of a chopper carrying her remains out of the Altai. Then in Novosibirsk, her body preserved so well for so long suddenly began to decompose. The mummy had been stored in a freezer used to preserve cheese, and a bacteria began growing on the
Get that
flesh.
bitch away from my
Yeah.
Fontina.
Fontina, yeah. He's put them. The princess remains taken to Moscow and treated by the same scientist who took such great care of the body of Vladimir Lenin for so long. After the body was brought to the Novosibirsk, some 400 miles from the Belarus,
They got
the
the cheese
constitutional
upper.
crisis of 1993 began in Moscow, ordered by Russian President Boris Yeltsin. Russian tanks shelled the Russian port. Soon after, economic disaster followed. Even the war in Chechnya that began in 1995 was blamed on the Princess of Yukon. Back in Altai, many ills had been explained by the princess's removal: forest fires, illness, suicides, and an upsurge of earthquakes in the region, the Siberian Times reported. In November 1997, First Lady Hillary Clinton visited Russia during her solo human rights tour. One of her stops was in the city of Novosibirsk. On November 16th, while on her trip, Clinton was lured into the most dangerous trap to meet face-to-face with the scientific sensation, the Princess of Yukon. At the History and Archaeological Institute of Novosibirsk, in the company of archaeologist Vladislav Malodin and Natalia Polosnak, the First Lady observed the remains of the princess on an exhibit just for Clinton herself. And it said Clinton's lives, as well as the lives of others she met there, dramatically changed soon after. The governor lost his power 2 years later and died, while the Valdovin family split and moved to Canada. In January 1998, exactly 2 months after Clinton's visit to the mummy of the Siberian princess, the Monica Lewinsky scandal broke, and the course of U.S. history was changed forever. And most importantly, Hillary Clinton's goals have never succeeded since the meeting, no matter how hard she worked to reach them.
Now
That's
she
a fucking weird
fucking
art.
she barfs up like green balls. And this is probably why that she is fucking cursed.
Yes.
One curse after the other with this bitch.
The based Aryan mummy princess cursed her.
So let's get back onto the topic of Alexander the Great. And I just want to know, did Alexander the Great encounter a dragon in India?
India. Yes,
He
this
seems
is
to have had a talking horse, like Mr. Ed.
Yeah, he had all sorts of wacky shit going on. Why would I doubt this? Alexander the Great was king of the ancient Greek kingdom of Macedon in 4th century BC. He is best remembered for his colossal military campaign, which, let's get to the fucking dragon, dude. It was during his time in India that the great military leader supposedly encountered the beast. A description can be found in De Natura Animalium, or On the Nature of Animals, a text containing brief stories of natural history written by the Roman author Claudius Ollanius. According to the text, the great serpent, quote-unquote, which Alexander encountered, lived in a cavern and was regarded as sacred by the Indians. Since they paid it great and superstitious reverence, they begged the conquering king not to attack the creature. Alexander assented to their wish. So now we have a serpent who is living in a cave, and it was supposedly sacred to the Indians. So this sounds like the Nagas, right?
Yeah.
The serpent people of India, and they're said to live in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, they lived in caves, right? That's what I've heard.
Yeah, sure. Sounds right. It was when the army passed by the cavern that Alexander and his men supposedly caught sight of the great creature. Having caused a noise while passing by, the serpent, whose hearing was said to be the sharpest of all animals, became immediately aware of the men outside its lair. It is said that the beast put its head out of the cavern and hissed and snorted so violently that all were terrified and confounded. And certainly, according to the description by Ollanius, the creature would have been terrifying to behold. The visible part of the serpent alone was reported to measure 70 cubits, the rough equivalent of 32 meters or 105 feet in length. The rest of its immense body remained within the cavern. So, 105 feet long. That's big as shit, huh?
That's a big fucking dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how big is a goddamn blue whale? It's probably like comparable.
How did he fucking kill it? Did he like did he did he St. George it? Did he like fucking couch a
We'll see.
lance and stab it through the eye?
So we have another quote. At any rate, its eyes are said to have been the size of a large, round Macedonian shield. So it gives you a sense of the eyes of this creature.
That's a big animal.
Did Alexander the Great encounter a known species? Whilst India is known for being home to several large reptile species, a creature of this size described in On the Nature of Animals is unprecedented. The world's longest venomous snake, the king cobra, is one such animal who roams the forest of India. So king cobra, what the fuck? 5 meters long? Not quite. So
Unless it was King Cobra JFS.
So yeah, there's nothing about killing the creature. If only I would have killed it. If I was Alexander the Great, I would have been his. I would have killed the creature. I would have been the bane of this thing's existence. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Kay, do you think this
kind of
is?
reminds me that.
Go on.
You ever hear the story of the dudes that killed the pterodactyl in like fucking Arizona in the Wild West?
Hell yeah, you gotta kill a pterodactyl. Hate them motherfuckers. Kay, do you think that story is like a metaphor for like the Nagas or something else entirely? Or is that actually a dragon?
No idea. All I know is that some strange woman on my Facebook is saying, weird to realize, but in my huge biological family, I may be the only queer.
Buck stops here, Mom and Dad.
I don't know, man. Dragons could be real.
They was real. They was definitely real.
I ain't seen one materialize yet. I'm waiting.
What if dragons and like dinosaurs are the same thing?
Yeah.
Dragon bitches, hit me up. Come on.
It seems to me, and I've talked about this before, how it's like, I think dragons and dinosaurs can often refer to the same things. The thing is, like, the word dragon is too stagnant. It's unchanging. You can't do anything with that word. You can't add to it. You can't learn anything about it. But dinosaur is almost too fucking dynamic. People say all sorts of fucking dumb shit about dinosaurs, and you know only 1% of the shit is actually true. So we need something in the middle.
Yeah.
So that ties us to tradition, but allows us to apply science to it still.
Yeah, what if there's like dinosaurs that we're just being lied to about that lived way fucking longer than what we think? Like, what if they went extinct like 5,000 years ago instead of...
Well, that's the thing is I think you do find the accounts of what sounds like dinosaurs, often interpreted as dragons, but it's like... Maybe first of all, maybe the Earth isn't as old as we believe. Maybe it's even older. But maybe like things weren't so sudden. Maybe you can have the extinction of like the big dinosaurs and still have like smaller creatures. And we're at the point where it's like the word dinosaur is almost meaningless. Like I'm not sure what it implies. It implies their like hip placement, that their legs are beneath them, is like the main thing that implies. I think between that and like a reptile.
Thing about dinosaurs, I think some of them like the really big, the brontosauruses and stuff. I kind of think those are fake and ghosts. And the reason why I say that, if you have an animal like a giraffe, right, that's the maximum length you can put a head from a heart in a reasonably sized animal, or even a giant animal, and expect the blood flow to be able to reach the brain to give it enough oxygen to function.
I don't have a problem.
Giraffes, if a giraffe gets up too suddenly, like if it's asleep and it like has to get up and flee, it runs the risk of having a stroke because not enough blood gets to its brain because its neck is so damn long.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. My only issue with that is that we just like there could be all sorts of biological means of going around that. I think biology is like I think it's infinitely complex. Yeah, there could be all sorts of things, but like the way nature works, it is so much more complex than we can even consider, I think. So for something to have a totally different like cardiovascular structure, or for the atmosphere to just be different at the time.
Subterranean dragon people are used to having much more atmospheric pressure than you and I. So of course their neck could be a really long ass neck.
That might be.
And I also think
I-
there's like some of these
That's
ideas about
interesting he says that.
dinosaurs like
Uh,
mating in bodies of water to counteract like gravity on them, so they can like hop on top and fuck, like shit like
So
that. Kind of makes
cloacas
sense.
could
To me.
match up.
Yeah.
Cloacas
like,
on
don't you think like humans would imitate that as well? Don't we have like these Cambodian tribes of women?
The
even
long neck
African
chicks.
Yeah, they be doing that too.
That's true. They're gonna all have strokes by the time the lions get to them. For sure.
So what I've learned today is that my Wiccan altar could have more dinosaurs on it. I could call them dragons, and then you could say that it's God.
Hell yeah. So let's talk about
dinosaur.
look at Marco Polo's
Hey.
accounts of dinosaurs. Get right into this content.
All right, because Alexander the Great, you go next to Jesus real good.
Marco Polo. He was a trader and explorer who spent over 20 years traveling throughout Asia, Persia, China, and Indonesia. It was his journey which ultimately inspired other men like Christopher Columbus to explore the world. His travels took place from
He was
around
looking for Kratom.
1271.
That's why he went to
Yeah. 1271 to 1298. The book The Travels of Marco Polo is the written record which chronicles the adventures and travels that Marco Polo experienced while exploring the Eastern world. In Part 2, Chapter 40, Marco Polo reports that what he describes as huge serpents. The descriptions given sound in many ways no different than descriptions given of the dinosaurs in textbooks. Here's an excerpt from Marco Polo's book. Leaving the city of Yachi and traveling 10 days in a westerly direction, you reach the province of Karazhan, which is also the name of the chief city. Here are seen huge serpents, 10 paces in length, about 30 feet, and 10 spans, about 8 feet, girth of the body. At the forepart, near the head, they have 2 short legs, having 3 claws like those of a tiger, with eyes larger than a 4-penny loaf. And very glaring.
Do you don't think they're coming across Komodo dragons and they're like saying this shit?
That's possible. Maybe
Those
you
are
just
from the
debunked this
Philippines, though, aren't
entire
they?
thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they have like islands just like full of these motherfuckers just walking around and shit.
Hell yeah.
And they're
Maybe.
mean. Like I went to my local zoo the other day, and they were fucking feeding the Komodo dragons, and like they put a pork shoulder in there, and they like fucking just crunch through the bone. Yeah,
That's
it's
fucking
fun.
crazy.
One of my favorite fucking reptile videos that I've ever seen was like feeding time at the zoo for the alligators, and they threw some meat out, and the one alligator and misses the meat entirely, and it clamps onto his homie's arm next to him, and he just rips it the fuck off in a death
Yeah, I
roll.
saw that. And he just stands there and he's like, ow.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Griffin Stoner in the chat says Stegosaurus had a prehensile penis like an elephant's trunk.
What? I thought they was mashing up cloacas.
Like a he would just like helicopter it as a weapon, like hit T-Rexes in the head with it and stuff.
So on with this possible Komodo dragon. The jaws are wide enough to swallow a man. The teeth are large and sharp, and their whole appearance is so formidable that neither man nor any kind of animal can approach them without terror. So now, jaws wide enough to swallow a man. That's not a Komodo dragon. I can see that.
Komodo dragon.
I can see that as hyperbole. But what changes it a little bit is that neither a man nor any kind of animal can approach them without terror. So it's almost like he is he isn't considering it like in the same kingdom of Animalia. Like it's a whole different thing than an animal. It's like a different category.
Like it's almost supernatural. Yeah.
So, yeah, something that's that amazing that you would set this thing apart from other animals. Others are met with of a smaller size, being 8, 6, or 5 paces long, and the following method is used for taking them. In the daytime, by reason of great heat, they lurk in caverns from whence at night they issue to seek their food, and whatever beast they meet with, and can lay hold of, whether tiger, wolf, or any other, they devour. After which they drag themselves towards some lake, spring of water, or river in order to drink. By their motion in this way along the shore and their vast weight, they make a deep impression, as if a heavy beam had been drawn along the sand.
So a gator.
Possibly, something like that. And I could see a Komodo
Possibly.
dragon even like dragging its tail and leaving an impression.
It sounds like a gator.
Maybe. Those whose employment is to hunt them observe the track by which they are most frequently accustomed to go, and fix into the ground several pieces of wood armed with sharp iron spikes, which they cover with sand in such a manner as to not be perceptible. When therefore the animals make their way toward the places they usually haunt, they are wounded by these instruments, and speedily killed. The crows, as soon as they perceive them to be dead, set up to scream. And this serves as a signal to the hunters, who advance to the spot and proceed to separate the skin from the flesh, taking care immediately to secure the gall, which is most highly esteemed in medicine.
Gator gall.
That's interesting because in China they like using alligator parts for medicine and shit, and I know that because like there's a big poaching problem with like alligators getting killed for Chinese medicine.
What'd I tell you? Gator gall.
Hell yeah.
Uh-huh.
In cases of the bite...
Wait.
Yep.
Oh, I was about to say, what proof do they have that shit actually works? Like they,
I don't know.
Trust
They
me,
also
bro.
Snort,
huh?
they
Did
snort
you know-
rhinoceros horn.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know that a mushroom is
right?
big on top of like your brain. So if you eat it, it'll be good for your brain. Just like a rhino horn is long, so it's good for your dick.
It's true. You believe it, it works.
Word.
Magic.
In cases of the bite of a mad dog, a pennyweight of it dissolved in wine and is administered. So that's the gall, the alligator gall, or whatever the fuck. It is also useful in accelerating parturition, when the labor pains of women have come on. A small quantity of it being applied to carbuncles, pustules, or other eruptions on the body, they are presently dispersed, and it is efficacious in many other complaints. The flesh also of the animal is sold at a dear rate, being thought to have a higher flavor than other kinds of meat, and by all persons it is esteemed a delicacy. So what are we going with? Gator, Komodo dragon, dinosaur?
Well, that's the thing though. That's the thing though with the gator or crocodile. Marco Polo would have known what a crocodile was because they had them in Egypt, and this is in I want to say what year is it? 600s.
This was the 1200s.
1200s. Oh yeah. They would have really known about what was in Egypt because the Crusades. Europeans had been to Egypt quite recently. They would have known about crocodiles. So, you know, if you saw one in Asia, why would you think it's anything but just another crocodile?
However, a Komodo dragon probably would be new.
Yeah. So maybe it is Komodo dragons. That's like the only.
Maybe.
My money's on gator.
There is a Chinese alligator, but they're very small. They're not very big.
What about that time Christopher Columbus encountered 3 mermaids?
Those are probably
I didn't
walrus.
read this one. Is this one good?
I don't know. It might be terrible. Let's give it a shot.
Let's see.
Christopher Columbus encountered 3 mermaids on January 8th, 1493, somewhere in the Caribbean Sea. Unfortunately, Columbus' log... he fucked him with his log. His daily account of his 7-month first voyage to the New World is lost. Therefore, we don't get to read...
it's a long ship ride. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, therefore, we don't get to read Columbus' first-hand account of the event. However, Bartolome de las Casas did read Columbus' log and wrote up synopses of some portions and copied word for word other parts. La Casas' version of the log is what historians use as a primary source for Columbus' first voyage. The encounter. The entry for Columbus' log for Wednesday, January 9th, 1493 reads, on the previous day when the admiral had gone to the Rio del Oro, he said he saw 3 mermaids that came very high up out of the sea. But they were not so beautiful as they are depicted, for only after a fashion had human form in their faces. He said that he had seen some on other occasions in Guinea, on the coast of Malagueta.
So they look like a walrus.
Walrus? Was walruses in the
walrus.
Caribbean?
Manatee,
Manatee.
walrus.
It might have been a manatee, yeah.
It sounds like a
A
manatee.
dugong.
And yeah, well, now he's talking about having also seen them in Asia, right? That's where he said, right? That's where dugongs would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Guinea, so that's not exactly Asia, but it's getting there.
Oh, did y'all hear about the? I didn't know about this shit. This blew my mind when I heard about it. One of the Rockefeller fucking kids got eaten by cannibals.
Yeah.
in Guinea. Do you know about that?
It got
shit?
eaten by what?
Yeah.
Oh, by the cannibal tribe?
The
Yeah, they ate.
Rockefeller's
They
son.
See, we're not totally
Well, that's
sure about
pretty good.
that because they have had videos of like a white man like living with the tribe.
No, like they
Or images. I
that,
shouldn't say video.
that was before. Like what happened was that so like he left. He was trying to go back home, and what happened is that there was a storm or something, and he fell off the boat, and he landed on the shore, but not of the friendly tribe that he was staying with. It
The
was
cannibal
their
tribe. Yeah.
It was the rivals that they would fucking eat and kill and shit. And yeah, and they chopped his ass up, and they kept his skull, and they gave his skull back to the family.
His family. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sorry,
Nice.
I ate your son.
The
It's very
story,
thoughtful.
I heard a few stories about that. One of them was that a guy like went to the village to find out what happened, and he noticed one of the villagers was wearing like eyeglasses from like the time period, and like these are people who did not have eye doctors. They didn't have optometry. They didn't have that shit. So he asked him where he got those glasses, and the guy just said, "Oh, it's the white guy we killed." And then apparently the whole village knew what the fuck happened, and they just didn't say anything because they didn't want the helicopters to show up and kill them all.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Helicopters are loud.
Fucking helicopters. Shoot your arrows at them.
It's like that friggin' pastor dude that tried to go to North Sentinel Island and got fucking lit up with arrows.
Yeah, brought it on himself. I would have done the same thing to that motherfucker.
So stupid.
How about that time Napoleon's brother saw the Jersey Devil, Joseph Bonaparte?
Oh, this one's good.
Hell yeah, dude. Going through the historical fucking cryptid sightings in a chronological fashion here. Joseph Bonaparte.
My friggin' grandmother on my mom's side is French, and so I've been trying to like give their language a chance and read some of their literature. Jesus Christ, what an awful language! That's all I gotta say.
Joseph Bonaparte, elder brother of Napoleon and the ex-king of Spain, is said to have encountered the Jersey Devil in the 19th century. Bonaparte abdicated his throne in 1813 and went into exile in the United States, purchasing 800 acres of land near Bordentown, New Jersey. He was an avid deer hunter and could often be found hunting in the woods on his property. During one such excursion, he came upon some rather remarkable tracks in the snow. The tracks, which seemed to end abruptly as though whatever left them had suddenly taken flight, resembled nothing more than those that might be left by a donkey walking on its hind legs. Bonaparte examined the tracks closely, unable to decide what could have made them, but was subsequently startled by the sound of a loud hiss coming from behind him. He turned to face the strange noise, only to discover that a large winged creature with a horse-like head was at his flank. He stared at the creature, dumbfounded, until it hissed at him again and beat its wings, taking off into the air. Bonaparte was so surprised, in fact, that he forgot he had a rifle and never thought to shoot at the beast. When Bonaparte reported the experience to a friend, he was told that he had encountered the famous Jersey Devil, a demonic being that had haunted the Pine Barrens since its unholy birth by Mrs. Leeds in 1735. The ex-king took heed, and was impressed enough by the legend and his experience that he looked for the monster thereafter whenever he went hunting. Eventually he left the USA to return to Europe, where he presumably never saw the Jersey Devil again. Jersey
the
Devil.
thing is, it kind of reminds me of Mothman. If you hear some descriptions of Mothman, where he's more humanoid, and like the one where he's fucking like eating the dead dog. Yeah,
That's weird.
so that's kind of weird. Are they the same fucking being? Like,
Yeah, it's very similar to a lot of like local legends, and I think the Jersey Devil is my favorite. It's the fucking hometown boy,
Yeah.
but Mothman's up there, but then whenever you hear like the Goat Man legend or this or that Bunny Man, this whatever fucking thing,
Yeah.
it's always like taking little elements of all of these stories and turning it into something else, not as cool.
The Loveland Frog Man.
But yeah, I do think there's a lot of common threads here, particularly in the local legends. Yeah, and I don't know. The Jersey Devil's never been. He's never been like a messenger of doom, and that's kind of what they say about
Like
the Mothman.
yes.
I've never really heard the stories about Mothman like eating dogs and shit. That is fucking classic Jersey Devil shit.
They had him. There was a guy that was fucking. His dog got out. It was a German Shepherd, and this is like right before the bridge collapse happened or whatever on the Moon Man sightings. Moon Man, Mothman, Jesus, Moon Man.
Moon Man.
No, the Mothman sightings. Right before the bridge collapsed, he had let his dog ran off, and he couldn't find it. And a neighbor called and was like, "Yeah, your dog got over. It's dead." And he's like, "Oh, well, that's too bad or whatever. I'll have to go get it." So he gets in his vehicle, drives to go pick up the dead dog. And he gets there, and there's this fucking humanoid with wings and the glowing eye things over the dog eating on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets up and hisses at him and flies off.
Hell yeah.
And he had like a picture of the dog. Like something had tore the dog. So
our next story, celebrate Women's History Month with this Ruth Bader Ginsburg Funko Pop. Oh, wait, no. It's this one. This one, the Bowman incident, when Theodore Roosevelt
this one's good, yeah.
might have written about Bigfoot. The finest hunting ground in America was, and indeed is, the mountainous region of the western Montana and northwestern Wyoming, Theodore Roosevelt wrote in The Wilderness Hunter, an 1893 memoir of his adventures at the frontier. There, Roosevelt encountered thick forests, towering peaks, and vast plains veined with streams and rivulets. He pursued the continent's megafauna, from white-tailed deer and beaver to bison, moose, and grizzly bear, while reveling in the fresh air and lively stories of his fellow outdoorsmen. The forest also held secrets. On one of his hunting expeditions in this primeval landscape, Roosevelt heard an anecdote that stood out from the usual tales on the trail. Roosevelt had studied the flora and fauna of the West, but had never heard of a creature as strange as the one at the center of this yarn. It was told by a grizzled, weather-beaten old mountain hunter named Bowman, who was born and had passed all his life on the frontier. Roosevelt relayed in his memoir. He must have believed what he said, for he could hardly repress a shudder at certain points of the tale. When Bowman was still a young man, Roosevelt recalled, he and a friend set out to trap beaver in a rugged river valley in what was then the Montana Territory. They went up a mountain pass where, the year before, a lone trapper had been killed by an unidentified beast, the half-eaten remains being afterwards found by some mining prospectors who had passed his camp only the night before. They left their horses at the foot of the pass and climbed up to a small glade where they pitched camp. With some hours of daylight remaining, they went to set their beaver traps in the stream and returned to camp just as the sun dipped behind the screen of pines. With a shock, they found their lean-to flattened and the contents of their packs scattered among bear-like footprints in the earth. Bowman's companion made a torch from the campfire and peered at the tracks. "Bowman," he said, "that bear has been walking on 2 legs." Bowman laughed off this idea, and the 2 trappers soon went to sleep in their repaired camp. But Bowman was awakened in the night by a fetid stench and the fleeting shadow of a great body in the entrance of their shelter. He shot his rifle, and the beast retreated to the forest. The following day, after long hours at the stream checking their traps, the 2 hunters returned to camp and found their lean-to destroyed once more. The same large footprints trailed away from the camp toward a brook where they appeared as plain as if on snow. Bowman had to admit that, whatever the creature was, it had escaped on 2 legs. They hardly slept that night, for the sounds of twigs snapping in the gloom alerted the men to the animal's presence. As their fire blazed, the trappers sensed it waiting, and heard its woeful cry echoing through the woods. Bauman and his friend decided that the next morning would be their last in this creepy vale. Together, they gathered their empty traps from the stream, dividing the pine thickets, plagued by a sense of being followed. Yet sun shone brightly in the clearing as they packed their bags, and the fears of the previous night began to seem silly. Bauman volunteered to retrieve the last 3 traps from a nearby river, which ended up taking a few hours. He returned to a scene of horror. The still warm body of his friend was leaning against the tree, with 4 awful fang marks piercing his broken neck. Telltale footprints surrounded the unfortunate victim. The beast had not devoured the flesh, but merely romped and gamboled round it in uncouth, ferocious glee. The hunter had become the hunted. Neither Bowman nor Roosevelt ever identified the culprit as a Sasquatch or Bigfoot, but its bipedal stance, hideous smell, and prolonged screaming in the northern woods dovetails with descriptions in indigenous stories, though Sasquatches aren't bloodthirsty murderers in the legends. What's up?
It's behaving a lot like how a fucking gorilla does when it kills someone. Like it's rolling on top, making a display out of dominate. Like
I don't think gorillas do that. Chimps might do that. Gorillas don't do that.
Chimps, yeah. I meant primates. That's what I was talking about. Primates.
Yeah.
I said gorillas, but
I
yeah,
mean,
like chimps.
It definitely lines up pretty perfectly with Bigfoot accounts. Like, when they talk about Bigfoot hunting, they'll talk about it breaking deer's necks. Like, that's what they do to kill you. They snap your fucking neck.
Yep.
And then just carry you off to be dinner.
And you know, if it's an actual creature, if it has to have calories, it's not some kind of mythical being, fucking Nephilim or something. If it's a creature and it's that big, it's eating meat because there's no other way it's getting its calorie content in the woods of like North America.
Yeah, no, you can see it with a gorilla. You can see how it gets that much fruit and vegetation to get by in the jungle.
Yeah.
But then there's also like the physical appearance is affected. Gorillas have a big old distended gut because they need a lot more intestines to process all of that plant matter.
Yep.
Whereas Bigfoot tends to, they say it's a lot slimmer. So it doesn't need all of that gut length, supposedly.
Because it eats mainly meat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Like
It'll fucking kill you.
It eats like 70% meat and then nuts and berries.
That is what they say.
Yeah.
So we can go into some Bigfoot video. I gotta take a piss so badly. I think I'm gonna let this play. I'm gonna fucking piss my dick off.
Oh, is this the skunk ape?
I don't know.
Out of Texas, Bigfoot is real.
No, it's not.
Bigfoot is real. Bigfoot is real.
The Sasquatch Genome Project, and they released what they say is proof. Several never-before-seen short video clips of the legendary and very shy creature. The group spent 5 years and $500,000 coming to this conclusion. One clip is of Sasquatch sleeping, shot during the day in Kentucky back in 2005.
Looks real.
We've all had experiences that have changed our lives. I mean, literally shook the foundations of what we believe in.
Besides the video, they say they also have DNA proof of Bigfoot.
Is that real Bigfoot video?
Could be.
I can't tell what the fuck.
DNA proof of Bigfoot's existence. One of the researchers stressed that their work has been a quote, serious study.
That looks fake.
I love that one, and I'm not here to say it looks real or fake. I just love the fucking video of this dude with the Chewbacca mask on.
It's like a little adolescent. Yeah.
So they also did, and I am gonna play a video that's long enough for me to take a piss soon. But they talk about DNA evidence. I think that's from like the Melba Ketchum stuff, where she was like I don't want to say she's a genealogist. I don't want to give her too much credit, or whoever would fuck with Bigfoot DNA, some sort of scientist. But the claim was always that they had Bigfoot DNA and that it is like 50% human, 50% unidentified. And that's why it always comes back inconclusive, because it's easy to just say that like the sample is tainted with human DNA, and like unidentified could literally be anything, but it could also be something unidentified that's very real.
Yeah. Could be like, that's why the 50% human, 50% unidentified is like the angelic.
Okay, are you still there? You still with us?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to
yes.
talk about that fucking the Yeti hand and the scalp and shit? I'm gonna take
Yeah,
a
the
leak.
Yeti hand and scalp.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Well, there's not really a whole lot that I know about it besides what I read last night. But
Tell me. I'm
allegedly in
gonna piss as
Nepal,
fast as I can.
all right, allegedly in Nepal, some monks had some kind of mummified hand and part of a skull and a scalp of a yeti. But some guy came and stole one of the fingers, and then later in the 90s, the skull and the hand went missing. Now, when you look into this subject, you find people they mention the hand and they say, "Oh, the finger is in the British Museum, and we DNA tested this finger that we found because it was lost in the museum's collection, and we found it when we were cataloging the archives, and we tested the finger, and it has some human DNA, so it must be human." So, ergo, the Pangboche hand does not belong to a Yeti, obviously, but to say nothing of the skull. So, the skull, nobody knows where it went. It went missing in the 90s, and I've seen photos of it. It looks like the Yeti skulls that I have seen depicted in tankas, where they have like Tibetan guru meditation masters, and they have like a bowl made from a Yeti skull that they make medicine in. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard about. That's the thing, and it's another thing too with like. I wonder if there's some government involvement in some of the stuff that goes missing because there was back in like I want to say the turn of the century, the 1900s. There was a dude that claimed he killed a Bigfoot in I want to say it was like North or South Dakota, and he had the body. And from all the photos, the body looks very like real, and everyone that saw it said it looked very real. And all of a sudden, they were transporting it to Canada for some reason, and they had to stop at the border, and they had to go do something. They came back, and it's like the body had been swapped with an obvious fake, and no one believed them after that.
The Minnesota Iceman.
I guess Bigfoot is an alien.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if he's like some kind of like the Yeti. Like, I wonder if he's some kind of like nature spirit, and the government just does not want people knowing about it because then that opens the idea that oh hey there might be other things out there, and you don't need to just live in a pod and eat bugs. And
well, dude, if there's Bigfoots out there, I'm more likely to hide in my pod. Don't take me. I don't want to go to the underground bases.
I think they want you to. They don't want you to have an imagination or have any lust for any more knowledge than what's normal. I guess you'd say.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's watch more Bigfoot videos. Here is Dave Shealy's 2000 skunk ape footage. Here we are in Florida. That do be a fucking monkey out there.
See, it's more chimp-like. It's shorter than like.
This would be a classic skunk ape. That is what they say. That it is more chimp-like. It's shorter, more lean, and more aggressive.
Yes, and it smells worse too.
Yeah, the stank from the fucking muck and the heat in the swamps. Or they just got like bigger ass glands or whatever.
That makes sense.
That's what I'm thinking. It might be used for mating because deer in the rut when deer start rutting, the male deer will like piss all over his legs and like let it build up.
What do you think of that, little Donnie?
Yeah. And then it's supposed to like be attractive to the does, and that's why they do it. But what if Bigfoots have like the mating thing like that, where they smell really bad because?
Well, I found some ladies from other races think that pee is an interesting thing.
It is fascinating, after all. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting, though, 'cause it moves more chimp-like than like I would say a Bigfoot would.
You can see the reddish color here, and that's another thing you hear often. My question is, like, there's very little scale here. It's like, now if I'm wearing a fucking monkey costume, I don't know if I want to be like walking around in the fucking swamps like that. There's probably snakes out there and shit. You can't. I can't.
It's kind of weird too because
but
he's
how
not
much
close
are you
to
going
it.
to make from your monkey video?
That's true. I can't get much sense of like how it's walking. I can't compare it to like the Patterson-Gimlin footage or anything. There's really not much to get out of this, but this is definitely like the most famous skunk ape footage.
And there's other Bigfoot analogs. And I was gonna talk. There's a Russian Bigfoot. There's a Georgian Bigfoot. There's a Mongolian Bigfoot, and then there's the whole thing with the worms and which is fucking interesting.
Let's go into that fucking.
Maybe having dude in his life.
Let's go into that Russian Bigfoot. I'm thinking topical.
Yeah, that's a good.
The fucking the Stalin's ape men invading Ukraine as we speak.
Stalin's ape. They dug him out of the freezer.
That's what they're doing. Let's start with the Almas. Mongolian folklore. An Almas is among the variants of this Bigfoot creature. This is said to inhabit the Caucasus and Pamir Mountains of Central Asia and the Altai Mountains of Western Mongolia. Nikolai Przewalski, I don't know, Nick describes the animals as related to him under the name Kung Guresu, man-beast, as follows. We were told that it had a flat face like that of a human being, and that it often walked on two legs, that its body was covered with a thick black fur, and its feet armed with enormous claws, that its strength was terrible, and that not only were hunters afraid of attacking it, but that the inhabitants removed their habitations from those parts of the country which it visited. Which sounds just like Native American accounts of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Heaney suggests that the Almas should be identified with the Arimaspi, a group of legendary humanoid creatures said to inhabit the Riphean Mountains. I'm going to click that. Arimaspi. Legendary tribe of one-eyed people of northern Scythia, who lived in the foothills of the Riphean Mountains, variously identified with the Ural Mountains or the Carpathians. All tales of their struggles with the gold-guarding griffins in the Hyperborean lands near the cave of Boreas, the North Wind, had their origin in a lost work by Aristeas, reported in Herodotus. That's pretty interesting. There's another fucking rabbit hole to go down.
That's fucking interesting, yeah. So like Bigfoot is Aryan?
Yeah, dude. The fucking Almas, bro.
It's the spirit of the wind. How can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come on now.
But this one, the Abnoayu, we'll go with. The Russian analog of Bigfoot or Sasquatch, commonly linked to the Almas, said to roam the lands around the Caucasus mountain range, so big-time Bigfoot boys outside the Caucasus Mountains, in the valleys, in the tunnels. Like other potential relict hominid habitats, the Caucasus is heavily forested and sparsely populated in many areas, allowing plenty of room for both a large creature to roam and legends to grow. So here it's being listed as like one of the most popular tales is of Zana, who was the wild woman of Russia. The name means black in the local dialect, so I don't know if that ruins the Hyperborean thing or not. This woman appeared rather mysteriously in the region around 1850 when she was captured by hunters. According to lore, she was dark of skin and hair, extremely strong, and completely uncivilized. After passing through a series of owners, she ended up with a man called Edgi Genaba, with whom she remained until her death in 1890. Zana, the tale goes, never did learn language or other human niceties, despite living among humans for 40 years. She was, however, eventually tamed enough to perform simple chores and even gave birth to human children, with the fathers unknown, 4 of which survived into adulthood. The most well-known of these children was Quit, who lived from 1884 to 1954, whose skull was exhumed in the 70s and determined to be human by famed anthropologist and Bigfoot researcher Grover Krantz. Despite repeated attempts by Russian archaeologists and others, Zana's bones have never been found in spite of the fact she was allegedly buried in the family graveyard near Quit.
Somebody dug that shit up and burned it.
Yep.
So this does kind of sound like it's a feral woman.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily a Bigfoot creature.
But I mean, if it's black of skin, how did it get to the Caucasus Mountains from Africa? Or it could be like one of those Dravidians from like South Asia.
Right?
Maybe she was just all fucking dirty. And that's just the word they use to describe it. I don't know.
Poker haunted earth.
Alright, yeah, fuck. So Bigfoot in Russia confirmed. Do you think Bigfoot is pro Putin?
He's riding a T-90.
That's true. That's true after all. Let's listen to these
He's
Bigfoot
the
sounds.
secret weapon. He's the secret weapon Putin was talking about.
I always imagined Bigfoot as an anarcho-capitalist who would have sided with Ukraine simply because that's where the dollars were, because he was getting funding from the CIA as they wanted the Azov battalion in the Order of Nine Angles to help them invade Russia because they really believe it's possible.
Yep.
Well, usually about this time every Wednesday, Walt Grayson, well, he has something to say from the Mississippi Moment Corner.
Well, Walt is out today, but he has a story that he doesn't want to wait until next week to tell us. So, Walt, what you got?
Walt?
Yeah, I'm just a little under the weather today, but I think I'll be okay. It's not anything serious, anyway. But this story's just too good. I didn't want to wait. I was down in Natchez end of last week, interviewing a couple of friends of mine, Jimmy Allgood and Brandon McCraney, about a Bigfoot birthday party that they're throwing this November for the 300th anniversary of the first sighting of Bigfoot on the North American continent, and it happened near Natchez. Well, in the process of doing the story, I interviewed Robert Cloy. Robert Cloy has seen a Bigfoot. This is what he told me.
And I saw some trees shaking, and then I really looked and I could see the silhouette of him holding trees like that. And then when he realized I saw him...
This is how I want to be, dude. This is exactly how I want to be. Just a man living out in the bogs, talking about fucking Bigfoot. This guy, fuck my god, he's living the dream, dude. Just like fucking peeping on Bigfoot while he's like taking a bath and shit. My god, it was beautiful.
Trees like that. And then when he realized I saw him, he screamed at me again, and that really scared me.
Well, we're in the Mississippi River backwater shooting the story, but I wanted to get a place that looked a little bit more Bigfootish, so I stopped by a couple of spots I know on the way home on the Natchez Trace. Now, keep in mind, I had just talked to a person who told me that he had seen a Bigfoot and that the Bigfoot screamed at him. And so here's what I heard in the woods.
Is that Bigfoot?
Like a chainsaw.
Yeah, it's a fucking chainsaw. Thanks, news. The news is literally stupid enough to think I'm going to fall for this one. Not today. Not going to happen. Now, this is a piece from Mississippi, and now we're getting into back into the southern Bigfoot type thing. Yeah, fucking maybe these wood boogers are just fake as shit. Maybe the skunk ape's not real. Maybe none of this shit's real. Maybe we have to go to first-hand accounts.
Or maybe it's all real.
Every bit of it.
I think Japan is where we should go to start Skinwalker Compound.
Do I even have any first-hand accounts of the fucking skunk ape? I don't think I have, like, any. I thought I did.
Is there a Japanese Bigfoot?
Why isn't there?
Japanese Bigfoot.
Let's pre-search it.
Yeah, we're going to have to look into that one. The first ever sightings of the skunk ape were reported throughout the 1960s and 1970s. In autumn of 74, many reports were filed in Dade County, Florida. That's fucking ground zero. 26 years later, in the autumn of 2000, the police of Sarasota County, Florida, received a letter from an anonymous woman. With the letter were 2 attached photographs of what the woman said was an escaped orangutan who had been stealing apples from her back porch for 3 nights. These photos were later found to be taken near the Myakka River. After the images were released to the public, cryptid enthusiasts dubbed the creature in the photograph the Myakka skunk ape. You guys ever see these pictures?
No.
No, but Japan's got a Bigfoot, and they got video of it.
They got the video?
Apparently so.
I'm gonna have to pull up that fucking Myakka skunk ape. We'll get to Japanese Bigfoot next week, I think.
Alright.
That's a good topic for next week. Yeah,
dude, I dig it. I'm into that one. Let me get to the fucking evidence here. We got hard evidence of a skunk ape. It is eating apples. Eating apples, I say. There, I have one image on the screen. You check out the stream, guys, if you're not looking at that, to see these images, so you can tell me if this is fucking real. To be honest, they're pretty fucking legit. I think they're almost too good for fucking cryptid images. Like, and that's one thing you got to look for. Is this like too nice? Is it just unbelievable that they could have possibly gotten images this good?
I don't know, I'm waiting for the screen to load. I'm still seeing fucking Pokemon. I've seen this picture of the skunk ape. Yeah, that's an escaped animal.
An escaped animal. It doesn't even look like an orangutan to me.
Well, it's clearly a fucking primate.
It is, clearly. So you have the two images side by side. They show movement. The first image is on the left side of the screen. The second image on the right. And so it's like standing up as the photos are taken. You have the classic eye shine. It's displaying its teeth, which is usually like an aggressive thing to do, which they say orangutans don't really do. You can't get a sense of the size of it, which is kind of a bummer. But I personally get a sense of movement in the face. It doesn't look like it's like staying in one position. It looks like it's moving.
Yeah. I would not want to see that in the swamp.
Yeah. So maybe real, maybe not. No definitive answer on that one.
I would say it is real.
Real. Decided.
It's something.
Let's go to our next video. Fucking upstate outdoors Sasquatch calling contest in Whitehall, New York.
Whitehall is an epicenter of Bigfoot sightings.
Who's gonna win?
In the Northeast. We're here for the calling contest, and it should be a lot of fun.
Because there's so many Bigfoot around Whitehall. There's been sightings, especially since the 70s, pretty consistently, and it's just been a hallmark of Whitehall, a tradition.
Deep guttural.
There you go. That's what I want to hear.
You're a tuba in your face, and we're going to have the Sasquatch calling contest, and this is how it's judged on what I heard. Our backs are to the contestants. We don't know who it is, and we judge it from there.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how many Bigfoots are you giving that? This is the kids calling division. I think that was a pretty good Bigfoot. He'll grow into it.
Yes.
As he becomes a fatter person, he'll be able to give a better guttural cry. I would give that a 6. Yeah, 6 out of 10 on that Bigfoot call. This girl is not even fucking trying. She's disqualified for sucking too badly.
That's a 0.
Yeah, 0 on that one.
Approval seeker.
He really put his fucking his fucking stomach into it. Really let loose
from the belly.
It gets a 7 in my book.
I'm gonna give him a 6. 6 out of 10.
Now you're out, lady.
0.
That kid, he's got potential. I'll work with him. One day we'll be able to take him off the fucking leash, let him run about in the forest like a real Bigfoot. Why you doobie on that leash though? Wearing a Minions hat? Who's dressing
his mama's little minion, scampering around?
I hate this.
There you go.
There you go.
You know, that sounded pretty fucking good.
Real man hours.
Confident at the end.
I think that was pretty good.
Mechanical.
But I'm going to judge more harshly for the adult team. Chat's asking if there's a varsity team for this. Maybe. We'll see. This one gets a 7. This is a 7, and it's not much better than the kid who got a 7. So.
Isn't it?
All right. Now you're
lady.
just fucking annoying me.
Go home.
Okay, new rule, women aren't allowed in the woods. She's still doing it. Stop. That dude gets like a 2.
Yeah, that's low boomer.
That was more like a dogman call.
Isn't it? Cynosyphilis.
The wood knocking contest.
Ooh.
That was literally Ric Flair, not Bigfoot.
Ooh.
Yeah. What if there's a Bigfoot watching this and he's like
He's cringing hard, dude.
Yeah, he's
got a red
cringing. It's
hanky
like a
in
cringe
his back pocket.
Oh.
We're back in Dogman territory. That one gets like a 5.
Yeah, that was more dog 4.
That's just the local retarded guy.
That's a retarded
But we're going to give him a 6 for effort.
Yes.
Because he showed up.
Yes.
His handlers brought him.
Sometimes you just win because nobody else showed up.
That's the key.
Handle all
That's literally what he says when he's sucking Bigfoot's cock.
I thought he was trying to pass something, but yes.
I thought he had a kidney. Oh no, it's a woman. That's a cow.
Dude, I think that's a dank Bigfoot call. That is right
Sounds
on
like the
point.
real thing.
I don't know who the fuck would marry her, but it's really close.
She's clearly part Sasquatch.
What did her shirt say? Drink wines matter. Drunk wives matter. Drunk wives matter.
Yes.
Give this woman a prize. Give her her prize. She wins.
She won.
God damn, yeah. Pretty good, Rick Steiner, says Black Baron in the chat. My ancestors. Oh,
She's
hell
won
yeah.
16th Sasquatch.
Alright, I think at this point we have expended enough fucking content for this show. We can save the rest for next week, God willing.
I'll recycle some jokes.
Hell yeah, it's what you gotta do. It's the only way to do it, brother.
Yeah.
I want to remind everybody to go to what do you go to? You go to yakobees.com. You listen to Tape Eaters on the podcast form there. All the podcasts therein. Hit that merch tab. Buy that shit. Patreon.com/yakovalive. You want to come hang out in the fucking Discord. Thank you all. Who has something to shill? Someone give me something. K98.
Oh, all right. Well, we're going to do book club soon. Skinwalker Book Club. We're going to transform some books into something new that you never seen before that couldn't be existing without you.
That's true. Yeah, we're gonna Transformers. What's your channel name?
Oh, right now it's just K98. Hello, you can click my username. I'll put my name in the chat there, and someday soon we'll put an avatar and a banner on the channel. We'll give it a name and a proper link. So,
Yeah. All right. Thank you to Southern Pollock for putting together the itinerary for the show this week.
No problem. I can do it from now on.
That'd be cool because I have a lot less time suddenly, and that was more effort than anyone else has put into the show in years. So
nice.
Hell yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was a pretty good show.
Yeah. And we'll be back next week, chat. Thank you very much for joining us. Alpine Ocelot's still hanging out. Asterios is still there. Black Baron. Buy CBD hemp from blah blah. Don't give a shit. I'll catch you later.